Welcome to Your View. My name is Mariah. Good morning for a brand new day. Hello, how are you doing, YK?
I'm fine. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Mariah. Good morning,
How was your weekend? You and I, yesterday was myself and Tokwe that got the memo. You had red. And then today is you and I, black and white.
Yes. Oh, and it was the last minute for me to wear my sweater.
So
I have black too.
Yes, I see you have black.
I love the nail polish.
Oh, thank you. I have two quick things to say.
Okay.
First one is, I was watching a program, journalists hung out, I think, yesterday, and they said Fela ran for presidency. He didn't. He tried to run for presidency, but his party, MOP, was not registered. Yes, so I just wanted to correct that. Then the next thing, you would like this one. I went to a dinner on Saturday, and it was this young guy, Chef Michael or something, and he made about, it was like 7 or 8 course meal, and all like his local, and he's a cordon bleu cook, and he made amala with goat meat inside. I don't know how he did the amala. So the amala was he made salad. The salad was with local things.
Well, I'd have loved to taste that.
The chicken, he stuffed it with jollof rice. Then the moi moi was like, where are you?
Let's visit.
I thought of you. I thought of you.
As you were eating away.
I would love to go there.
And I just wanted to say, he's a young guy, and there are these young kids in Nigeria who are really doing, young guy. The girl sitting beside me, she makes, I can't say what she makes on air, but local drink.
Wow.
I was just looking at it, say, these are the people that will carry Nigeria forward.
Yes, so if they will support.
If they will let them.
If
they will let them, because in the midst of this poverty, chaos, the way they are thinking,
Oh, yeah, you have to recommend that. That's go there.
Yeah, you have to go there.
Island of mainland.
It's island.
I don't do island much, but I'll try.
When the bridge opens,
that island.
When I do island,
this month, it's not 6 months. It's December.
We don't mind now. When are they going to get back? When are we going to get back out?
Are they side the other end of the bridge?
They haven't side the other end. Don't worry, you will be like this the next year.
Such a stressful situation. How are you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. So someone was wondering why I enjoy staying home. I've been doing schooling work. I've become teacher, mother, everything to my children because they've not resumed school yet. I'm enjoying it.
You're doing online?
No, I'm the physical teacher. So I've downloaded some apps, some things that are helping me. I want to shout out to a fan of ours. Her son, Osayonwabo Precious Annabelle Ogbebo, is her name. Okay, that must be her daughter. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday from your mommy Alero Ogbebo. But then in-house, part of our production team, Shegun Peters, today is his mother's birthday, Mrs. Olufunke Peters. Happy birthday, ma.
Happy birthday, ma.
Ẹ ṣé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún láyé o.
Amen.
Ìgbà ọdún kan.
What's the matter?
Okay, I heard him telling you this morning. So
I know it's a big deal for me.
Who is birthday?
Yes,
look at him.
Happy birthday.
I heard him, but I didn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
They
don't tell me.
And okay, there's good news. To the families of Amina Adams, Ibrahim Adams, and Taiwo is her husband's name. Congratulations on the birth of our baby girl.
Oh.
Yes, she's waited for a very long for that. That excited me too over the weekend. So many good news.
Thank God. We need good news. Festive season is coming. We need good news. Please just send. Coronavirus. YK, I know.
If it's not corona, we would draw the name like this.
YK, this is where. Don't worry, you will not catch COVID-19.
Amen.
You won't catch it.
Amen. Every day I take
you think you've not survived it already?
Every single day I say, maybe I've caught it today.
No, you won't catch it. Don't worry. By God's grace, I met you.
But like I said, I'm your resident pharmacy.
YK, the working pharmacy. Oh my goodness, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation today. How we will take Nigeria out of recession by government. FIRS rakes in 4.1 trillion naira from taxes. Wow. How AMCON misled courts by Jimo Ibrahim. Maina, court sends Senator Ndume to prison. And Lagos Ibadan Rail to begin operation in December. No fresh fund needed. Okay, which story are we taking?
The
Maina?
major...
Or with major headline? Let's start with the major headline, the recession.
So,
yes, go ahead.
So the executive in the meeting, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, the Minister for Finance, the President, the Vice President were all meeting, and they were outlining how they plan to help us exit this second recession that we've had in 5 years. It said some of the measures are, by stimulating the economy by preventing businesses collapse through ensuring liquidity, retain and create jobs through support to labor-intensive sectors such as agriculture and direct labor intervention. Other measures include undertaking growth-enhancing and job-creating infrastructural investment in roads, rails, bridges, solar power, communications, technology. And in all of that, I'm thinking these are the same excuses over the years that we've continued to borrow. So, my fear is, yes, we need to exit recession, but why not cut down certain costs that we bear,
So I think Nigerians, so we see the plans, but I think what the federal government is missing is that many Nigerians also want to see cuts in terms of the cost of governance. So once, yes, you have this big plans out there, but at the same time, let us see a commensurate cut in cost of governance, and then Nigerians can begin to believe in all these economic plans.
The Maina story, should we take
yes,
another
go ahead, let's take Maina.
Maina stood, what's his name? Senator Ndume stood surety for Maina, and he has subsequently disappeared.
Yeah.
He missed 4 court appearances, so now the court has ordered the arrest of Senator Ndume. He should cool his heels in Kuje prisons.
Or produce the 500 million naira.
500 million.
That is being owed.
The government will seize his, because, that was what he gave as his collateral. And they're going to sell his property. And then that way he will not go to prison.
Maina, please come
out.
No,
he will. While he's
in prison, yes.
He will reach prison.
It's Kude, they said they should go to.
He's the remand. No,
they said that they will sell it. He went to court and said he can't find me now.
Maina, wherever you are, please come out. Come out, wherever you are.
Maina, who found every excuse in the book?
Yeah, I'm telling you, he skipped court appearances. Let's move on to Daily Sun.
And they said it's the same way. I can't remember who it was. For
Nnamdi. But they didn't arrest Baribe now.
I think he quickly vacated that bail condition before.
Okay, moving on now to Daily Sun. COVID-19. Just remember, somebody actually asked me to stand surety for them. I think this one will just say, Daily Sun. COVID-19 suspend Christmas travels, PTF tells Nigerians. We'll talk about that in our hot topic later. FD to take fresh $750 million World Bank loan. Fowler left behind 38 billion naira debt in FIRS, says NAMI. US hails Nigerian doctor Obuagu on COVID-19 vaccine development. Umahi taunts PDP on 2023 president, says, put me to shame. Zone ticket to Southeast. He challenges opposition party. A political wanderer, says PDP. Okay, which story are we taking here? Fowler, yes. What happened?
So NAMI he has been able to rake in about 4-point-something trillion in taxes. And highlighting how successful 2020 was, saying that they projected about 5-point-something trillion, and they've been able to bring in 4-point-something because of the tax waivers that they gave, some tax cut that they gave due to the pandemic and all of that. So, but they've been able to meet up 98% of what they projected as tax return. He now went on to touch on his predecessor, saying that one left about 38 billion naira debt for them. They have prioritized about 20 billion of it. They have met, shall talk about that one again. I hope Fowler is able to clear that those issues around his name.
Just in addition to the talk about recession, our president again has blamed COVID-19 pandemic as the reason why we had this recession. And the Honorable Minister of Finance has said that it's going to be a V type of recession where it's shallow and that we should be back up by first quarter next year. However, the chairman of the NESG, that's Asua Udalo, was also saying that we should copy the Chinese model because they were able to save for the rainy day and they got enough buffer for this kind of season. They are the epicenter of the pandemic, and yet they are not in recession. But other countries, yes, like UK, Russia, Spain, and all that are being in. Anyway, well, that's another point.
We should have started since yesterday.
We should have started since we started many years ago. Okay, moving on to Vanguard. Nigeria's economy at critical juncture, says World Bank. We just talked about that. 7 soldiers feared dead in Borno land mine attack. Outrage as herdsmen burn for his farm again. Flight operations in Nigeria, accident waiting to happen, says National Assembly. Letter to CNN on Lekki shootings, 15 scenes of CNN by Lai Mohammed. And FG proposed bill to exempt minimum wage earners from income tax. Okay, which story are we taking?
The Lai Mohammed story.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Lai Mohammed has said CNN they committed 15 sins. Amongst the sins, they fell short of journalistic standards. They did not contact the federal government, relied heavily on unverified footage and harvested by social media. They didn't follow BBC's account. It contradicts CNN's. DJ Switches, they rely on DJ Switches' ever-changing stories. This is according to Lyman, not me talking. No videos or footage of dead bodies.
Yeah. And quite a number
manipulating viewers. And
they said that they've asked VSN to retract or to have an investigation to see indeed if all these accusations were done by their own reporters. However, we are going to talk about it after. We're waiting for the reports of the investigation panel, after which we now have a thorough conversation on it, because it's still a whole show. So yeah, it's a whole show. So because people want the latest review to say something about it, we will talk about it. But we're waiting for the investigative report for that inquiry to come out, and then we have a compare and contrast, and we have something more robust to talk about. So that's why we're shelving that conversation until then.
I can only show that.
Which other story want to take in Vanguard?
No, that's it.
That's it. Let's move on very quickly to the Nigerian
the Borno attack. Okay.
You have that story, Waike?
Yeah, I read it. They were taking food to the village in Baga, and then they were on a landmine. A lot of them were killed. 7 soldiers were killed. Right. A lot of them injured. Civilians too were
in Baga. And so there's still landmines all over. Moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune. How Nigeria will exit recession by federal government. #NSAS as British Parliament hears petition. UK government says it won't speculate on sanctions. 16 policemen killed during NSAS protest. Covid-19, FG advises Nigerians to suspend Christmas travels. Court sends Ndome to prison. We talked about that. Herdsmen destroying my farm. Falaye writes Amotekun.
Yes, COVID-19, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 have advised Nigerians that, it's not the usual Christmas, this Christmas. Some Nigerians like to travel, saying that, some countries are having their second wave, and we should still be cautious about the pandemic.
Isn't that our hot topic?
Yes, we'll talk about it further in our hot topic. But interestingly, the UK Parliament have taken up on the issue. Remember, they were reading, I think there was a 200,000 signature petition to them, saying that they need to, they wanted them to sanction the Nigerian government. And they are they've debated it, and we don't know if the sanctions will be given up, but they're also proposing that there will be a travel ban across, freezing of some assets, possibly based on investigation. But it's interesting that at least we're able to get Nigerians in the diaspora, especially, to bring pressure from external pressure to get Nigerian government to do the right thing. Okay, any other story?
Nigerians are still denying now.
There's still investigation. Let's wait for the investigation. Let's not deny it. Let's wait for the investigation panel to come up with the reports. Any other story we missed? We took the story concerning. There was one story that was interesting. Falaye, his farm.
No, I didn't take it.
Okay, he has written to Amotekun that they need to, because according to him, he said he doesn't want them to kidnap him again. No, and they should please come and they've been burning down their. I didn't even realize they're still burning down his farms and his property, and they need help. They said they've spoken to the police, but the police is saying that nobody came to them. They haven't filed proper reports, but we just hope that he's shouting now, because when they do it, they're not saying nobody said anything, but he's telling us now that he needs help. His farm, and they are actually destroying, especially the herdsmen that come around that route. They are destroying the farmlands.
So there's a story. It was a bottom street story in the Nation that we didn't take. The Minister for States for Petroleum saying that we've not totally removed subsidy, that we are still subsidizing. I think the dollars that subsidizing foreign exchange for the purchase of petroleum products. And he also excused us. You knew.
We all knew that. Because
I was actually very trusting of this.
I think we've already known that the dollar, that we're not paying the actual value, the real value of the dollar. So it's being so someone indirectly.
The problem will not finish.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on the front page review. When we come back, our hot topic will be about this young man from Yale University who's part of the team that discovered the vaccine for COVID-19. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So success, we say, has many relatives. As the saying goes, recently, different stories went viral about a Nigerian who's doing great things in the diaspora. A lot of these stories have generated quite a number of reactions stemming from how the political elite had been claiming that these sets of people are Nigerians. We just celebrate them together. But a lot of people are saying that perhaps if these people were in Nigeria, would they have attained this level of success? Our focus today is Dr. Onyema Ugbagbo, a Yale professor who helped develop COVID-19 vaccine. You can join the conversation at 090-241-63440. Also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweet. So Dr. Onyema actually went to University of Calabar. It wasn't as though he was born and raised in the US as would have liked to assume. But this is he was homegrown, and he left to Yale. And it was being a professor at Yale that this discovery was found. And people, of course, Nigerians now we're all Nigerians. There's no tribal divide at this moment. Everybody says, oh, he's a Nigerian. But the truth is that, let us bring the conversation home. If this man was in this country, would Nigeria have supported him enough to even have any kind of semblance of achievement?
You see, where I want to direct it to, as you have said, is what about the hundreds of thousands of Nigerians that are still here that are brilliant but are not finding a way? Because when this Corona thing started, remember when we were just shouting, give Nigerians a chance. Let's use our local herbs. Let us do this, let us do that. It seemed to fall on deaf ears, except for that the head of
NAFDAC,
yes. Who that lady is very interested in developing an African Nigerian ways of treatment. This is a person who he would have been stifled had he been here. But I don't want to disregard our teachers who, if they hadn't given him that strong foundation.
Thank you for that. You took me to exactly where I wanted us to start with, because people are celebrating him. He went to Yale. But Yale would not accept somebody who doesn't know his work. Yale would not accept an average or a lower average or even a regular A student. Yale will accept somebody who is top class. So he had a foundation here in Nigeria, not in your OAU or the University of the business I'm trying to define here. University of Calabar. It's not a bad university, but the truth is that we have the description of, it has to be this university. He went to University of Calabar, and it was from the foundation that he got, that he now went on to Yale. So that it just reminds us of the strength in ability that we have in this country.
This is how I see it. So imagine if he became an associate professor of infectious diseases here
in Nigeria
and developed this vaccine here in Nigeria,
nobody will listen to him.
Would Nigeria, allow him prove himself? We are not saying it has not gone through clinicals. He tested. Would they even create the room for the research to grow? It's not possible here. So I must commend him for finding a way to fulfill his dreams outside here. Many professors who graduated 2003 in Calabar are still probably carrying their doctorates around, not even close to getting promotion to associate professorship in Nigeria. ASU is still on strike on many of these issues, and federal government does not know. In fact, they seem dumb about how to go about restructuring our universities to have that prestige that they used to have in those days. So the reality is that with the present ASU strike here, that question, when you ask it, with the present strike we are doing now, the one is only one answer. That dream cannot fulfill here. Most of the professors, most of the doctoral degree holders in our Nigerian universities get their PhDs abroad.
Yeah, and interesting because when COVID started, as Waike had reminded us, America especially was looking at the universities for research. They were depending on the research work the university have done for years to tell us they were hoping that they will get the vaccine. And of course, it was university that produced this man. So the point is that how have we funded our universities in Nigeria so far? What research facilities do we have in place to groom? And even if we have brilliant minds in Nigeria, what support are we giving to them?
So I usually say it on the show that problems are local and solutions are also local. COVID-19 has come to prove that our genetics and theirs are different, and the way we react to these infections are different. But if we support our own local medicine, first of all, solve our own problem. Maybe people will now come and borrow some things from us, but we don't do that. We don't do funding here. Most of the fundings for research abroad, they have tables, they have foundations where you can easily access funding and continue to do your research, and you'll be fine. It will not seem like you don't have a job or
Let's
you're
not
hungry during
assume
that
use
period.
local Nigerian herbs to get this vaccine.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm talking about
we didn't.
funding, but I'm
We
saying
didn't.
we here can also do the same.
But
our
that
universities-
doesn't mean that our local herbs cannot produce.
Right.
Because
it's the research
what
that
she's
has
saying,
not
it
been
is
explored.
research.
Yes.
These universities are not funded. ASU has been on strike for
Forever.
almost a year. And how will they have their researches funded when they are not, even basic salary they can't get?
pay.
Let me take Hassan. Hassan, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Nima, and good morning, Waiki.
Good morning.
Look, you see, this issue, one thing came to the fore about this general saying that technology is not a monopoly of the West.
Yes.
It's a knowledge taught to a man by God. And man can reach for this knowledge if they break away from the shackles of imperialism. What is very clear here, I congratulate our doctor that went further. But the foundation was provided in Nigeria by the University of Calabar. First, congratulations to the University of Calabar, then to the University of Yale that gave him that conducive environment to prosper, which is very, very rare in our environment here. Let us be very, very proud with ourselves.
Yeah.
But one thing here, I would like all of us to endeavor is this. We should concentrate on self-development. This issue, anybody can do it. Anybody can.
Yeah. Right.
It's not a matter of you will get there, no. Even our own local doctors here, they should begin to think of how to make a headway about their different professions. Not only in medicine, in engineering all over the place. We can see in Nigeria where we have many engineers, but look at the building collapse all over the place.
Right.
It's a challenge to them.
Right.
It's a shame to them.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Thank you very much. You see, now, I also want to bring up the fact that he's an Igbo man. You see, that's an important. I know we don't like to play the tribal card. But he says the perception that when an Igbo man travels abroad, they do fraud, they're into 419, they talk about businesses, they talk about an entire community, or that, there's an erroneous perception that we have allowed to fester for many years. But this is, yes, he's a Nigerian first, but he's also an Igbo man. Now, he's a successful Igbo man that is educated and has, and obviously has
It's obviously not a Nigerian prince, like everyone would say.
Well,
yes, he's not an Invictus.
Yes.
So yes.
So it's important that we also remind ourselves, because it's easy for us to sweep the Igbo part of it under the carpet and say, oh, he's a Nigerian. But the truth is that this is a man who also is not just a Nigerian, but also an Igbo man.
For every one Nigerian you find in crime abroad, you find thousands doing amazing things that you don't hear anything about. Yeah. Which is why we started the Friday, a hero of the week, celebrating our own brothers everywhere in the world. So yes, that factor is there. And it's easy to always generalize that every Nigerian is into this, such that somebody will make an aspersion to that on a live show, someone that popular like as Trevor.
So we need to...
But then... the truth is, for me, the problem for me is how serious do we, make, what are our priorities as government? Because you see every single lecturer, young Nigerians, struggling every day to want to do things that, the world will know us for. It is the Nigerian that is the highest, the best coding and robotic engineer in the world, a young Nigerian. But you see, they're struggling on their own to do this. Our government's focus is always on re-election, election, spending money for one region. Our problems we've worsened our...
All right, we have to wrap up on this.
Okay, to wrap up, I just wanted to say, I just want to use this one to say that we should always try to maintain our integrity as Nigerians. No, because I remember universities in my time, they were the best. They came from all over the world to seek students from our universities because the universities were so good. That is how brain drain started in Nigeria, because they were taking our doctors, taking our lawyers, they were taking them away from here.
Yes.
And today now they are excelling. And they even still take them. Because a Nigerian, because he has so much stress that he's trying to succeed, he pays more attention because he must succeed.
Yes.
So please,
let's
maintain that integrity.
Absolutely,
We
Waike. We celebrate. We have tweets. Let's quickly take a few tweets.
Andrew says, the unfortunate thing about the Nigerian who helped find the Covid-19 vaccine is that his company will sell the vaccine to Nigeria. The Oxford University vaccine is free of charge. The truth is they will sell, and we have lost that revenue. Abdul Salam says, had it been that Dr. Onyema is in Nigeria, his potentials will have withered away, and maybe searching for a job now.
We have to run, but I think, like Hassan said, there are professors in Nigeria today who are just as brilliant.
Brilliant, yes.
Just as brilliant, or even more brilliant than Dr. Onyema, but they need support. Research institutes need to be funded. So we remind us again what ASU is. Yes, ASU, we know there's a salary part of it, but there's also the revitalization part of it.
ASU has issues.
There's also a part of the revitalization that needs to be addressed. And we only hope the Nigerian government
put their eye down. Put their eye down. Instead of borrowing money up and down, looking, develop, create our own.
There's no money.
They are borrowing up and down. I said create.
For what? We are not borrowing to create things.
We have
Nigeria,
to run,
creativity.
Congratulations again. We have to run.
I told you about that cook. I didn't even know this was going to be our subject. You know, because that cook that I saw, if you see the things that he was creating with our Nigerian food, this I was doing.
Before we close the last, we talked about how Nigerian politicians should support the hashtag #EndSARS. Money that you are taking, please fund universities and researchers. So
we have to run. Unfortunately, we run out of time. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we move on to other segments. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. So recently, the federal government advised Nigerians against Christmas traveling because of the second wave of COVID-19. That was a possibility. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your VTVC so we can read your tweets. We continue to have this conversation on COVID-19 because the festive season is here. And Nigerians obviously like to party and hang out with family. But it's important that we continue to remind ourselves that COVID-19 is here, is still here, and the federal government is warning about a possible second wave. I mean, the PTF had a meeting recently, and they were even saying that over 39,000 Nigerians have failed to go for testing after return. Many Nigerians that came back from the U.S. did not go back to do their COVID-19 tests. And that was a requirement. When you come back to Nigeria, you're supposed to do that test and provide the results. So I don't know if they can. If you're supposed to provide it going back, I don't know. You know your daughter recently.
Provide it going back.
Okay.
When you're going back, if you don't have the test, they will sanction you.
Okay.
They might seize your passport and stop you from going out.
Right.
You know, but I told you my daughter traveled. Nobody asked her for her test, and I know the wahala we did to do that test. After 7 days,
wow.
We did wahala. So they too, they have to get their house in order. If you want total obedience from your people, then do the right thing. At the place where we went for my daughter's test, there were plenty of people. Everybody was doing their test. Now, have you ensured that at the port of exit, the people are asking for the tests? One. Have you ensured that they are not taking bribe? Two. Because people
actually clear their way through. Yeah,
yes,
true. You can just call somebody and say, well, how much is it? I want to and you get through. That's Nigerian factor for you. But 139 NYSC
students
are also positive. So this reality is setting in right now. That COVID-19 is still with us. And I heard that a doctor died recently, even last week or so, of COVID-19. And this is, Nima, what are your own thoughts on this?
I just see blame government for a lot of things when it comes to this COVID issue. We claim we are, putting down rules we fail to enforce properly. We claim we require people to do testing, but we do not sanitize the system of those tests. YK was explaining to me that she was in Festac and that she was in traffic. Nima, how do you drive it? a test that required the YK girls to first start to be done, of course, it's not something that is easy to be done from considering where she's coming from. What are the measures that they've put in place to ensure that in your local area you can quickly get tested? I'm aware of someone that, called and said she had some symptoms of COVID and we advised her to get tested. She contacted my own contact and she was sent to first start to have the test done. She waited for hours. In that waiting, you are getting up, you are trying to get yourself some snack, mixing up with people further, doing a lot of things. Or you're not even, your symptoms are there, but they are not exactly COVID. But you are sitting amongst people who most likely have it, exposed for longer. What exactly are we doing? How do we really want to do it? In our population, considering the number of tests that we have done, can we really say we have tested our people? And we come out today now.
People are not coming forward like
before. People are coming forward. The system is tiring. The last test I went for, in fact, the first one I went for with my children, I remember regretting it, exposing my children like that. Having got it there, I thought it was going to be a seamless system. That's something that, they had called and said the entire family should come. And I went with my entire family, and I took 2 little children. I went to expose them. The seats everywhere, they were like, touching it. I was paranoid at some point. I started screaming and shouting at some point. You don't get your citizens to that point. Even if they were not exposed to COVID initially, I had exposed them by coming for that test. So if people continue to see those... Somebody was yesterday coughing in my business place at home, and I was saying to her, you should take care of this cough. I think it's COVID. And you're not even masked up. She was like, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. That's the approach to it because of the way it is. And we've already started stigmatizing our own.
Good morning, are you there? Thanks for calling from Port Harcourt, Monday.
Yeah, good morning. God bless you.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
I love your program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You are doing fine. Yeah. To the contribution of this traveling over COVID-19 in December, honestly, we are living by the grace of God. Because the government himself, they are not doing what they are supposed to do. We should, you see, there's a leadership is from you as a leader. As you can see during the election, how it is, how the government that are shouting, there is corona, there is corona. I think what the government is doing, they are doing it for their own self-interest, not for the citizen. Let's take, for instance, these private companies. If they should be looking towards government, whereby government is not doing their part. I think it will affect other private sector. Let's take, for instance, your station, TVC News. How many people that have the opportunity of entering the staff bus? Let's say, for instance, the cleaner, I don't know, and other security. If we are saying we should follow the rules and regulations of this COVID-19, I think it should be from our individual doing our own part, because
they're very correct, sir. Monday.
They will say, okay, maybe company is employing you. They will say you are going to be quarantined. The quarantine starts from your home. In the process of entering public motor to your place of quarantine, you might have this corona effect. So I'm pleading to the government, they should do their own part so that everybody can be safe.
Thank you very much, Monday. But I think, in fairness, the government, they have, in the early days, they did their part in trying to sensitize the public about COVID-19. But the truth is that people just got tired. People got tired of wearing the mask in the buses. People got tired of wearing the mask at public events. People just got tired and just started living their normal lives. The other day, people went out to the mall, and yes, you have to enter the mall with a face mask. But once you enter, take it off. So the truth is that it's easy to blame the government, but we also are not taking responsibility recently, and we're all there dancing having a good time because we've all somewhat moved on. So it's not a call on criticizing the government, it's a call on ourselves, reminding ourselves that listen, we must take responsibility, especially as president is around the corner and people are likely to...
You work in TV. Yeah. Now, let me just tell you about publicity. There is nothing like continuous publicity. If you stop, it comes out of people's minds. It's not in your mind again. If you continue this information, if you continue to aggressively inform people, because of course, when a mask is totally alien to us as people, is to the whole world, except for China. They have been wearing since SARS. But the rest of the world, nobody has been wearing masks. So you have to continue to sensitize them. If you do not, you will get what we are getting now. You will get that lax. Look,
that lax didn't happen because they did not because they themselves did not practice what they were preaching. That was the problem. You remember the moment we had a dignitary, a high-placed person die, the burials were different. People initially believed it. My husband was laughing at me the other day that the corona had not even taken effect. Where your bucket? Where is your bucket now? Somebody kicked ball at the bucket. It was broken. I didn't even react. I put a bucket there for washing, and I will go there every morning. I'll put a bleach in the water. I make sure that before you come upstairs, I didn't take visitors. I did everything in the book. I tested positive. So people who didn't believe it and they are working free, they always laugh. They say, "See, but where's your bucket?" Everybody makes a mockery of it because government themselves were relaxing before every Nigerian did.
Okay, let me take this call from Obina. Obina has been holding for a while. Obina, are you there from Port Harcourt? Hello, Obina.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm a Friday caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this is what I want to say. Please, I want to take you guys back to the first one
Yes,
you
it's
talked
your
about.
view. Let it count. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
About the doctor.
Yes.
That you said in Nigeria doing well in diaspora.
Right.
Yeah. You see, and Antimicrobial, I would like to get this impression. You said about Igbo. You said something about 419 or this or this. We have the good, the bad, the ugly in every tribe. Then I want to talk about talent. I wouldn't advise, it's a personal opinion, I wouldn't advise anybody to display his talent in this country called Nigeria because they will kill it for you. If you eventually display your talent, they will kill it for you. I could remember there was a day I was going to work. I saw a young boy just playing with that built all this car, keke, put battery, and these things are working. People were there, dashing out money, giving out money. So when I was coming back from work, I saw that they scattered the place. It's who? A military man. Because of they said the guy is blocking a road. They scatter the guys, everything, just scatter everything. So you could just imagine a boy that they were supposed to encourage. It's painful. When we talk about COVID-19 in this our country called Nigeria, let's just leave COVID-19 to God's hands in Nigeria because I don't want to go into it.
Thank you very much, Obina. It's important to remember that there are perceptions around the world. For example, this the hush puppy guy, the Yoruba guy. A lot of people have that perception of, oh, they do credit card fraud, oh, it's 419, they do the which is on Yahoo. Yes, online. That's a part of our job here, to correct perceptions and to change those perceptions. Let people know that, listen, there are great Nigerians doing everything across tribes, both locally and internationally, and we must acknowledge that. When the noise of Dr. B was all over the world, we need to remember that this is a young man who is doing so much better, and we must celebrate him and make that noise so that the world can see also. Okay, moving on now to the issue of COVID-19. Now, there's another part of what the report, the PTF said, I was going to mention earlier. We've talked about the fact that the ban was the ban. They are asking us for the amount of money people are being forced to pay just to get your the documents you must actually have to come into the country, correct? To show that you've actually
50,000
naira. Now people are still complaining that amount of money is still. People are still paying that fee.
People are paying it. My daughter paid it. My daughter paid it twice because she didn't even know. She paid it coming in, and then she paid it. She took the test again going out, but that one wasn't required. You know, so she paid it twice, but because my daughter, she will follow everything by the book. She doesn't want trouble, you know. But I think it's a very good thing to make us do the test going. I mean, coming in, if you're coming in, so you're not infecting, because that's where it is. But they need to make sure it is implemented. Yeah. It's not just paying lip service, saying, oh, yeah, we are going to do the test, and we are charging you 50,000. It's a lot of money to charge people. Right. And then not to even ensure that you are getting the results or checking. Yes.
So it's like it's an effort and a futility when you do make an effort to do it and yet nobody's checking. Well, so we hope with this Nigerians
revenue generation drive for them.
I don't want them to start copying Oyibo and saying, oh, they are going to put Nigeria in another lockdown. They put us in lockdown. Yes, the recession will be recession times 10.
Depression.
Depression, recession.
YK, the truth is that
it's not about
suicide. It's not about us copying them. If there is a need for a total lockdown, there's nothing the government can do. If not, we're going to have people dying all over the place.
It's in England that they did total lockdown. Who answered them? Who answered them? And then they have means of eating. Here, you think SARS was anything? You remember 1 million boys during the last lockdown? Have you don't remember?
Yes, I remember.
Just remember that there is hunger in this land, though. So create your own way.
Solutions.
We shouldn't do
Create
second
yourself.
lockdown.
Don't be following your Igbo people. Create your own.
Okay, so that's a suggestion from YK.
Let's
go
go.
to break.
Follow
When
Igbo
we
if you
come
like.
back, we talk about antimicrobial. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So there are some rare diseases or medical conditions that are killers. According to reports, antimicrobial resistance, AMR, causes an estimated 700,000 deaths annually worldwide. And every country is potentially affected. If not properly addressed, the number could grow to 10 million per year, 2050 actually. Now, what exactly is antimicrobial? Joining us on the show is the chairman, Nigerian Medical Association Antimicrobial Resistance Committee, Dr. Lawal. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you, sir.
Everybody, good morning at all.
Yes, sir. You can call us on 090-241-63440. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your VTVC so we can read your tweet. Now, sir, many people know this condition exists. Is it a disease? Is this some kind of medical condition that nobody knows about? AMR, antimicrobial resistance. Could you tell us exactly what it is?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, again. Let me greet all Nigerians, and I wish us a very peaceful days, months to come.
Yes.
And I pray that the second wave of coronavirus, we never witness this as we're able to dodge the first wave, because it's only the will of God that saved us. Now, the issue of antimicrobial resistance is not really a condition per se, but a phenomenon that occurs to almost all organisms that we have. Vis-a-vis the antibiotics, antimicrobial agents. I will try to give some definition so that you understand what we are discussing, in order for people to really follow us.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about antimicrobial resistance, we are referring to a situation whereby we have an organism and we have an antibiotics or antimicrobial agents that is specifically made in order to kill or inhibit that organism.
Okay.
Therefore, if a person has an infection of that organism and is initially they prescribe an antibiotics, it's working, suddenly the antibiotics fail to do the work that the agent is made specifically for. That's implied the organism have developed a kind of resistance that disallow that drug to work on that organism. Are we following now?
Yes, very much.
Now, you know, unfortunately, these antimicrobial agents, people spend millions of dollars to produce. And I must let us know, even while the process of production, even before they come to the market, the resistance is already on grant for this antimicrobial. Because there's something we call resistors. When we say resistors imply that naturally it's an aggregation of genes that's responsible for resistance. Okay. They are existing in the environment, in the soil, in the water, in everywhere. Thereby, by the time we are producing a drug, already one or two resistance genes is already waiting for that drugs to make it not to be working when we start using them.
But now, sir, we hear that when somebody uses a drug, for example, it's after continuous use of that drug that causes the resistance. But you're not saying it's genetic.
Right? There are two ways where resistance comes in.
Okay.
There's intrinsic, there's acquired.
Okay.
When we say intrinsic implies that the organism has those genes responsible for resistance embedded on them, ab initio.
Okay.
That's implied if you use a drug against that kind of organism that has a gene on itself that resists that kind of antibiotics, it will not work.
Okay.
The one we are referring to here, you just mentioned the situation whereby from our own making, our behavior, because in 1945, when people are celebrating the advent of antibiotics, that, okay, you can kill organisms and so on. This man Fleming, he made a very serious warning that a time will come that we have all these antibiotics available, people can purchase it. If we use like ampicillin, penicillin base, they won't do us any harm. In fact, we use overdose. But a time will come that people will start using sub-lethal doses. Those concentration of drugs that will not do anything to those organisms. In doing so, all these organisms, they are like human beings, they have sense, they have ways of studying these antibiotics, and they invent a kind of resistance tool in order to make those drugs not to work. Though then it was a projection, but it's happening now with us. That implies when we have an organisms by our own act, people will prescribe drugs for somebody, use for 5 days, maybe 4 times in a day. If he doesn't have time in the afternoon, in the evening or something, uses 2 times in a day, and after 3 days, he stopped it. Those small concentration that is left in the system, those organisms will study this because you won't be able to kill them or stop them from growing. They use the opportunity to study those antimicrobial agents, and they invent a kind of genetic modification, that make them not to work. They think like a human being, and they try to, because even resistance from all these organisms is like a kind of a defense mechanism. That's okay, you've been killing us, you've been slapping us, you have to get back to you. And once they do it, it's a very serious case.
So what you're saying in essence is, if a doctor prescribes antibiotics 3 times a day for 5 days, take it. The day you stop it before the end of that thing that is in your body, you will go and rest. But then it will come back with heavy fortification. So that antibiotic will not work. They will have to now look for another one for you.
Yes, it's not only for that person. Because if, peradventure, that person transmitted the infection, maybe he goes to the hospital, understand, you have patients close to one another. There's a kind of challenge that's spreading to other patients. That patient that the organism spread it to is always going to be affected. And unfortunately, all this in the summary have effects on the cost of health management. It has a cost, overall cost on the economy. Even the person that is affected, once you are on the bed, it's prolong your stay. You will be able to go to your daily work. Economic-wise, it affects family. Psychologically, it gets an effect.
I wanted to understand how whether there's a way you can tell. So I have a close friend who's always trying to avoid getting bitten by mosquitoes, because when she tries to take treatment for it, they can't find any good treatment for her. If she takes any drug, antibiotics or anything, there's this reaction she gets. She's swollen and then she's choking on herself. So they need to give her another thing to help the reaction she has. Is that antimicrobial reaction, or is a silent reaction in the body that nobody can tell until it gets out of her?
No, let's quickly sort that one out. It's different from what we are discussing. It's different from antimicrobial resistance. It's kind of a reaction to an agent, which can occur with anybody. People in the past, people do react to chloroquine. They do react with this amala and so on we used to. It's not going to be everybody. A specific body will react to an agent. Advice is that person should do away with any agent that the person has reacted to before. And definitely there will be some agent that person will do well with. There are a lot of anti-malaria, there are a lot of antibiotics. It's advisable that person go to the hospital, explain everything. They find a suitable drug for the person to use.
So how do we tell if a person has, is now resistant to antibiotics?
Yeah, thank you very much. Unfortunately, all these resistance phenomenon usually occur in the community. These days, people enter into pharmacies, to chemists, to buy antibiotics and to wish. And in fact, people do all this type of a thing. You have fever, you have body pain, they give you analgesics, give you anti-malaria, give you antibiotics. Unfortunately, an antibiotics maybe just for 2 days, for 3 days, and people just use and stop using it again. Now, when that person gets infected with an organism that is resistant to that, in the community, the drug will not work. Understand? Unfortunately, the problem comes back to the hospital. There's no way that patient will reach hospital, because you have maybe attended community health center, private hospitals. The fever still continue, spike 40 degrees centigrade, 39 degrees centigrade. No way, the patient will refer to a very center.
Let me go on a quick break, sir. I'm here to cut you off at this point, but there's a point I want you to really amplify when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about this antimicrobial resistance. Mothers, one of our greatest worries is the fact that when your child is ill, first thing they do, they give you malaria, they give you antibiotics. I mean, I have had a situation where my child was given antibiotics, and even after we completed it, a few days after, his fever also increased again. They now had to give us a stronger one. Now, it's worrisome when you say that. Is it like someone like my child, for example, his body has now resistant to the particular antibiotic, or is there something a parent can do to ensure that this doesn't occur in their children?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me first of all clear some things. If a child has fever or stooling, or that does not imply that that child is having a bacterial infection or something. Many of all these illnesses in children are caused by viruses. And usually viruses disappears on its own. If you at least just keep that, okay, it's stooling, give rehydrate, give ORS, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, since we are very fast in approaching chemists, pharmacy to buy antibiotics, all sorts, that's the first thing many parents will do. And in fact, is also a way of increasing resistance, because if you use those kind of drugs and the patient is not having that kind of disease or organism
that
in
needs
itself.
the antibiotic.
And unfortunately in our system, there are some natural organisms that are in our system, in our skin, in our gut, and everywhere. You understand what I'm saying now? We are giving room for all these organisms to get wise up and recruit themselves and transform their genetic form to a mutated one that will resist future antibiotics when you use them. Now, you first started on a kind of antibiotics if truly the baby is having an infection, understand, and maybe so. You know, antibiotics were classified. There are some first class, second class. There are those ones that we resort to when all children are down.
Yeah, Rosafin.
Even Rosafin these days is not really doing any. In fact, resistance to Rosafin is as high as anything currently now. Even the meropenem that people thought was doing magic a few years ago, today, there are a lot of high rate of resistance to them. You understand what I'm saying now? And it's our made, because the way we use antibiotics, the way we prescribe them, the way we have access to them, is really increasing resistance strains of all these.
Let me pause you for a brief second. Someone has been holding for a while. Pharmacist Felix has been there. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Madam Our State. Hello, sir.
Morning,
Pharmacist Felix, go ahead, please. You're live. Go ahead, please.
I want to congratulate Marayo and your crew for the wonderful work.
Thank you, sir.
I greet also my Oga there.
Good morning, sir. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
I really enjoy the program, and I'm always there online with you people. I'm looking at antimicrobial resistance. Let me approach the topic as a public. Sometimes our discussion there can be academia, can be in the hospital, and some people watching might not actually understand that much. Specifically, looking at it from the public perception, we in pharmacy are having some challenges with regards the antimicrobial resistance, because perception of a common Nigerian is cost effectiveness of medication. They always go for the cheap things. Summarily, you find a relative calling a friend, brother, or whatever who is a doctor, and you know that name doctor in Nigeria. We respect it so much, yes. In a situation whereby a medical doctor, a nurse, or a medical practitioner sends text message of prescription to relative brothers and friends because they are suffering from one problem or the other, they end up going to patent medicine or substandard shops where they buy these things and they are fake.
Yes.
This particular issue is very serious and it contributes to antimicrobial resistance. All other things our guy is saying there are very valid points. We only encourage the public to go to pharmacy outlet or go to hospital where tests can be conducted from the lab for the appropriate medication to be prescribed by the
Thank you very much, sir.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. So, in response to her...
Yeah, thank you very much, Pharmacist Felix. Sincerely, at least you rated the point. Unfortunately, all of us has to come together to ensure that we resolve this dangerous situation. Because if it's a global health problem, not only in Nigeria, everywhere. At least like 2-3 years ago, 2017, the world met. They discussed antimicrobial. Somebody was quoting 10 million deaths by 2050. And in fact, part of projection was that by 2030, 28 million people should have tilted to very severe poverty by 2030, and it's very close to us. Now, quickly to pharmacist Felix's comment. Now, apart from sending messages or something, the issue of prescription of antibiotics shouldn't be done on phones or by text message, because if you inform me you have fever, does that imply you have infection? There are a lot of things that can cause fever. By doing so, we are promoting inappropriate use of antimicrobial agents. Definitely, that's what will happen to us.
You know, because I read somewhere many years ago about this person. Every time he had intercourse, he wasn't sure of the partner, he would take antibiotics. Let me just kill anything. He now developed a disease that killed him because there was nothing that he could use to treat him. So the whatever the infections he had been getting, they were just sleeping, and then they now grew to what medicine could not cure, and he died.
So to take it from that, sir, how do we solve this problem? What's the remedy? Once somebody has built that resistance, is there still remedy for the person to live?
Well, there can be remedy. There cannot be remedy. Let me create this scenario. Somebody has been abusing antibiotics, antimicrobial agents, and he got to a situation whereby he has an infection. Unfortunately, maybe currently in hospital now. After they collect the blood, and in fact, it's possible for somebody to have an organism in or herself that will be resistant to all available antibiotics, group of antibiotics that is available at that moment, which is pan resistance. What should we do? Maybe in a very serious setting, maybe they look for new drugs that are under productions and so on, which we might not have the opportunity in Nigeria.
Right.
How many drugs are we producing in Nigeria? What kind of level of research are we doing in order to bring in more? Those are the things we need to mention as a way of preferred solution to all this problem. Therefore, the patient, if so lucky, maybe by doing the investigation or something, may have a drug that will be useful. Once we have it, the patient will take it. But the patient is unfortunate and there's no drugs that matches or that is susceptible to that kind of organisms. We have to go.
You have to go where?
That's what you're making now.
Because part of what is that apart from
to visit you,
apart from patients maybe prolonged stay, cost, and so on and so, there are a lot of adverse effects that patients can experience. The last of it is that patients might die.
There's a tweet for you.
One second.
Good morning, Moriah and others. Please, can the doctor make more clarification on if you are placed on drugs and the dose is 3 times a day? If for any reason you miss the afternoon dose, what should the person do in the evening? So how do you continue? Not that you intentionally skip your dose, but then you...
Not that you intentional skip. The patient was prescribed
3 times a day.
3 times
But
a day.
you took 2 times a day. Forgot afternoon dose.
No, what I'm saying is that you shouldn't forget. You shouldn't forget taking drugs.
That day that you forgot, something happened.
I will continue taking his drug, and if
you go back to...
Yes, go back to his drug, continue. But seriously, if somebody is sick and drug prescribed, before you can prescribe antibiotics for somebody, you should have been very sure that that patient has infection. And infection shouldn't be taken lightly. Because anything can happen to it, can progress.
But let me make a confession, sir. Yes. Let me give you one confession. Me, because I have this thing against antibiotics. When the doctors prescribe for my children, half the time I don't even give them at all. I just let it its natural course. So I manage the temperature, I give them paracetamol, and just manage them. But if I have like boxes and boxes of paracetamol and that, I don't use it. Because I feel that it makes them weaker if I do that.
Antibiotics.
Or do you think is that the wrong perception, or do you think I should at least give them antibiotics?
No, I said something the other time. Maybe most of all these febrile illnesses in children might not be due to bacterial infection. Maybe you are so lucky they are viral infections and it goes on their own. But if
it's bacteria,
it is bacteria, and specifically the doctor is sure, maybe through tests or maybe from his history and everything, and you fail to take antibiotics appropriately, because it's part of inappropriate usage of antibiotics. That implies you've instituted a very low dose or an incomplete dosage. We are already promoting the emergence of antibiotics, antimicrobial resistance.
But what if she didn't start it at all?
I didn't start it at all.
You did not start it at all.
No.
Well, that's implying maybe your child also with viral infection that you suffer on its
That's another thing I wanted to ask.
And let me also have this before that. You know, normally even our system, they have what we call immune defense and so on. Even with the patients, some people has a bacteria, the body system on its own can't find a way of eradicating. You know that you understand. This is not better.
I want to, because coronavirus is a COVID-19 is a virus, it's a viral infection.
Yeah.
But I heard that in the hospitals they are giving people antibiotics, but I thought antibiotics were for bacterial infections. So why are they giving them antibiotics for a viral infection?
Okay, good. The basic thing there is that, you know, when somebody has a viral infection, there's possibility of the range immune system and so on and so forth. Antibiotics is just given like a prophylaxis. There's possibility of superimposed bacterial infection. And you know, COVID itself is a very serious respiratory problem that you shouldn't even joke upon. But in terms of COVID also, currently there's no specific drug that we say that is for COVID. At least with experience, with what people have experimented, they just believe that, okay, when you combine this and this plus this, patients do better on them. And we are just juggling everything together to ensure that we have a safe return of our patients from COVID.
Unfortunately, we have to run. Thank you so much, sir. It's always a pleasure having doctors explaining to us. Thank you. So at least we know that we should do everything to ensure that we don't, when you're prescribed antibiotics, finish your dose. Even though you are well, finish it to the end, because you don't want the others in your body to
set alarm. Me, when I did, that time I was in hospital, I set alarm 12 every 12 hours. Ma'am,
no, you were hospitalized. It's now when we
but when I came out, I was still taking antibiotics now.
Usually they keep you. There's now I'm understanding. You know, I understand better what my pediatrician does.
Have a fabulous day, everyone.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.